Tonight on News 5 Live, a state of emergency declared in Southside Belize City and parts of Cayo. Police Commissioner Chester Williams says it is a necessary measure to address the surge of gun violence ahead of the long Easter week. Investigators review video evidence in the Ras Bubba murder. The Belize Defense Force destroys wooden bridges built by Guatemalan in the Columbia Forest Reserve. The plan they have for the road illegally constructed in the Chiquibull, and opposition leader takes on the acting Governor General Stuart Leslie. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, pay $28.13 more and get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Remember, not all light bulbs are created equal. Our lighting department offers a wide assortment of light fixtures and accessories to suit your style. So stop in today and get the right illumination for your homecation. And don't forget your B-Box when you make a purchase. Benny's, quality and savings.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, March 26th. I am Sabrina Daly. A state of emergency is now in effect in Southside Belize City and Hattieville, as well as specific areas in the Cayo district, such as Roaring Creek Village, Another World area, Camalote Village, and Young Bank area. This SOE comes after a violent weekend last week when gun-related crimes increased at an alarming rate. 3 persons were murdered in less than 2 days, with other shootings taking place in Belize City. The SOE will remain in place for 1 month. Statutory Instrument Number 58 gives the police the power to enter any premises, stop and search any vessel, vehicle, or individual, and seize anything found that they believe was intended to disrupt public safety and order without a warrant. We spoke with Commissioner of Police Chester Williams for an update on the situation.
At this present moment, the police and the BDF are on operations within not just the Antelope area, but practically the entire Southside Belize City. As you would be aware by now, a state of emergency was declared this morning, covering almost the entire Southside Belize City, and the Hattieville and Another World area of Roaring Creek Village, as well as Young Bank area of Camalote Village. And so we also have police and BDF operating in Hattieville, in Roaring Creek, and Camalote, picking up those persons who we believe are part and parcels of the flare-up of gun violence in the Belmopan area. Here in Belize City, you would know that we have had a spate of shootings, 2 of which were fatal, and we have, I believe, about 2 other persons who are currently admitted in the hospital in a critical condition. Those were shot on Sunday in the Genosha Boulevard area. And so due to the flare-up of gun violence in the city, as well as in the Roaring Creek and the Camalote area, the state of emergency was declared, and we are now going after those persons who we believe are part and parcel of those flare-ups. The truth is, we have seen a long lull in gang violence in Belize City. Again, I always said it takes one idiot to pull a trigger, and that could cause a flare-up. And these flare-ups are going to happen occasionally, and we have to be able to have the right approach in dealing with it. As I have said to the minister when we discussed the SOE, that it had reached a stage where if we don't do something, then the cancer is going to spread further, and then the other gangs are going to feel like, oh, over there is flaring up and nothing's been done to them, so better we have we own thing too. So we have to ensure that we do something that is measurable and that is going to bring some calm.
The state of emergency may be extended from time to time by a resolution passed by the National Assembly for further periods. As we mentioned, the SOE is a response to the recent flare-up in gang activity, which sparked concerns about public safety. Like in previous SOEs, residents in the targeted area say that this violates their human rights. Police Commissioner Chester Williams said that it is necessary for ensuring the good of the wider public.
I have never heard the government being critical of it. I've heard that the SOE must use as a measure of last resort. I don't think that any reasonable Belizean would ever say that the government and the police is not doing enough. We have an entire LIU program which is geared towards helping young people, to help those young men who are caught up, to see how they can come out of living that lifestyle. We are doing interventions. They are given employment opportunity. So the truth is that the government and the police is trying. But again, we all know that there are going to be those persons who will not want to live a peaceful life and may continue to live that violent lifestyle. And so the SOU is geared at going after those persons. The amount of persons we expect to be detained from the SOE is not a huge number. It's going to be a small number of persons because we just want to be able to pluck out the bad seeds and allow those other persons who are part of the LIU program and are productive to continue to do so.
Some people feel that SOEs are a violation of human rights. How does the police respond to this?
Which rights is more important? The rights of 50 persons who hold the country or the city hostage, or the rights of over 140,000 in a city, or the rights of 440,000 people? We have to strike a balance, and I'm sure that some human rights activists are going to agree that as a part of human rights, we have to look at the greater picture to see if we're going to allow these people whose right we believe should be protected to continue to extinct themselves. I think that if we allow the extinction to continue, then we will be in breach of human rights norms, because we're seeing a trend and we just allow it to continue. The fact that we step in and do the SOE, so get them to have a pause and to rethink, I think goes in line with maintaining human rights norms.
With the implementation of the state of emergency comes several criticisms. The Belize Police Department now must resort to delegating a large portion of its manpower and resources to monitor hotspots and known gang members. Today, Police Commissioner Chester Williams was asked if this latest move was an admission of defeat by the department. Here's how he answered.
To say I feel like the police, what does the police have to deal with? The police have to deal with the failure of society. Your brothers, your children, your uncles, those persons who choose to live a violent lifestyle, they're not the police raise them. They're raised in their respective homes, and they turn out to be what many families do not desire them to have become, but that's how they become. And so the police have to end up dealing with those persons. And yes, the country is huge. We will have a certain number of police officers. We can't tag police to every criminal to make sure that we babysit them, that they don't go and commit crime. So to want to say that because we have the flare-ups, it's because of failure of police, I think that the police have been doing fairly well in making sure that we police the entire country in the most peaceful way that we can, and try to make people feel comfortable. Yes, sometimes we fall short of that, but I've always said that the society have a role to play, and we have working with us the multi-sectoral approach to fighting crime under the LIU, and we are seeing where other sectors of society are playing a role. But if the propensity or the mindset in the homes are not changed, then we're always going to have this problem. When you have parents who are condoning what their children is doing, it is going to create problems. And already we are seeing where parents are calling my son not this, my son not that, when in fact they know they picked it out, they shoot gun. Right? But the minute the child is dealt with by the police, the parents want to come forward and swear for their children. We have to be real.
We also asked Police Commissioner Chester Williams for an update on last Friday's murder of Elwin Rasboba Lewis. Lewis was shot dead while driving a motorcycle in front of Gwen Lizarraga High School in Belize City. His murder shocked and saddened community members, as he was often regarded as a success story as a reformed gang member. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams said that his presence will be missed in the Leadership Intervention Unit.
I have sat in many interventions with Bobo, and he has always been one of the positive ones, trying to see how best he can help to quell the issues in the George Street area. Certainly, yes, his presence working with the LIU is going to be missed. We know that he did had issues with a particular group. And again, it's a whole George Street faction. As you would know, that there's a division in the George Street faction, and there was a group that was against him. But Bobo have always maintained his cool, and despite knowing that that division and that animosity was there, he still felt comfortable moving in the area where the other factions were, hoping that the fact that he has been an elder, that he would be respected. But I guess what he had hoped for did not work out well for him.
How close is the department in bringing charges against his alleged killers?
We are working on that. We have a number of video footages that we are viewing. We have very, very good clues. It's just a matter of us trying to put the pieces together. I will try to arrange for the investigators to see the DPP with the video footages and see if she'll be able to provide some guidance to the police in terms of how we can proceed with the video footages that we currently have.
Police investigation into the shooting murder of 30-year-old Nigel Williams continues. Williams was executed on Friday night while he was driving his vehicle on St. Thomas Street. It is believed that his killer waited for the right moment to pounce. Since the incident, 23-year-old Tyreek Supas has been arrested for the crime of murder. Today, we asked the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, if a motive has been established.
In regards to the murder of Nigel Williams, I know that someone has already been arrested, Tyreek Supas. Has a motive yet been established?
We believe that is a retaliation for the, I think, shooting death of one of the guy Young that took place a couple months ago.
So Mr. Nigel Williams was gang affiliated?
Yes, he was affiliated to one of the gangs on Southside Belize City.
Friends, family, and colleagues are still grieving the loss of 29-year-old Dylan Anthony, a police constable from Kamalote Village who was shot and killed on Saturday. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams said that while this case is close to home for their department, their priority is still to bring justice for the victim and his family.
And what about Mr. Dylan Anthony? Has there been any updates in his murder?
At this time, no.
Meet with Mr. Anthony's family this weekend, and what was that like in terms of trying to assure them that the department will get to the bottom of his murder?
Well, certainly the death of Anthony is extremely tough for us. Anthony works at headquarters right beside my office, and I used to see him every day. A very big, humble, respectable young man. If a matter of fact, I always joked with him when I passed him. And he always have that good sense of humor and that big smile on his face. I certainly will miss his presence. And I want to assure his family that we will do all we can to find those persons who are responsible for his demise. I don't want to hear that it's a case of mistaken identity. The fact is that they killed someone, and as much as, yes, it bothers us that it's a police, but who the person is that they killed shouldn't have to do with it. We currently have the suspects in custody. We believe we have the two gunmen in custody. And they are currently being interviewed by the CIB in Benwapan, major crime. And we are hoping that we should be able to make some significant progress by the end of the day today where that murder is concerned.
Coming up, BDF destroys bridges built by Guatemalans in Belize.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens." President John Quincy Adams, at the age of 80, was asked by a friend how he was. President Adams said, "John Quincy Adams himself is quite well, sir, but the house in which he lives at present is becoming dilapidated. It is tottering upon its foundations. Time and the seasons have almost destroyed it. Its roof is worn out, its walls are much worn, and it crumbles with every wind. The old tenement is becoming almost uninhabitable, and I think that John Quincy Adams will have to move out of it pretty soon. But he himself is well, sir, quite well." You know, to the Christian, death is like moving from one house to another. While we may leave the house of our earthly sojourn with sadness, yet we move with gladness. In this new home, the blind will see, the deaf will hear, the speech impaired will speak, the crippled will stand, the paralyzed will walk, and the devastating diseases of humanity will lose its power as we are given the title deed to this home that will never deteriorate. Faith in Jesus Christ can give to you this blessed assurance. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
1,067,700 slices of bacon are eaten by tourists each year, stimulating our local economy. Tourism means business.
Well, sir, I really did go through some stress with my barber. This man here, they push my hairline way back to the 90s.
Sure.
People, they call me BB Buck Farid now.
So I got a problem, right? I just do this photo shoot, and I want the best photo shoot. But somebody want me to post it up. I just tired of this, man.
And I want to tell her to catch me on my way. I stopped at the shop and tell the lady I want $5 tacos. You could imagine when you give me? No.
What the your problem?
Honestly, life good for me over here. I just upgrade to the Digi1 Elite. I have unlimited postpaid plans, Digi TV, free home phone, and the fastest home internet.
I going to upgrade mines now.
I know I believe, Jean. Of course, I will make sure the place clean, especially the places then where we treasure.
I don't believe, of course I have a bag for my garbage in my car.
I don't believe, of course. I believe that all of we should do for we part to protect the environment.
I don't believe, and of course I teach my picnic from small enough to throw garbage on the ground.
I don't believe, of course, on and off the court. We unite as a team to keep Belize clean.
As Belizeans, let's trash the habit and not the beauty.
The Belize Defense Force destroyed 2 bridges built by Guatemalans inside the Columbia Forest Reserve in Belize. The bridges were used to facilitate illegal logging by Guatemalans. The discovery of the wooden bridges was made in late February. It was not until last week that Friends for Conservation and Development, FCD, brought it to the media's attention, saying that a road stretching over 2 kilometers into Belize was observed. The wooden bridges facilitated truck access for timber extraction, which may involve rosewood and other valuable woods. Aerial observations reveal active and recent human activity with stacks of timber visible. Deputy Commander of the BDF, Colonel Anthony Velasquez, told News 5 that troops remain in the area to deter any further incursions.
In late February, the Base Defense Force patrols have discovered a network of tracks in the area, as well as two reinforced bridges that was constructed from wood, from timber. And we have discovered these things, and again, we have done our due diligence, sent up the verification to the ministry for further onward transmission to the Organization of American States. But in addition to that, we have launch operations in the area, and the two bridges have been destroyed, and we have troops on the ground in the area right now to deter any further incursions in the area. For the moment, we have presence in the area, so we know that during the dry season, most of these activities would increase. So we have increased activity, military presence in the area over this period to ensure that they do not return and continue their illegal activities. So one team would have dismantled the bridges. Other teams would conduct security overwatch. The Belize Defense Force will continue to protect and defend our territorial integrity, and we continue to conduct patrols in these areas. However, it's a vast territory, prime jungle, etc., with numerous terrain features. And from time to time, these incursions will occur. But the moment they occur, the Belize Defense Force will be there to ensure that that these activities are halted where they started, and the environment will return back to the pristine nature that it was before.
Guatemalans have also built a road into the Chiquibul forest. That road originates from across the border, and it is highly believed that it was commissioned by wealthy cattle ranchers living in Guatemalan towns. The Belize Defense Force is also aware that the threats this road poses, and plans are being put in place to destroy it. Deputy Commander Colonel Anthony Velasquez says they are keeping a close eye on the area.
On the 7th of March, a patrol of Belize Defense Force soldiers was tasked to go into this area to do a reconnaissance, and it was discovered that yes, there's a road that extends well over 1 kilometer into Belizean territory, and it's a road that was cleared by heavy machinery, so it's a pretty open road. Since then, the Belize Defense Force has been monitoring the area. We have sent patrols to the area to keep a close eye on the area, to monitor any movements in the area, and to detain anyone found in the area. So we have a presence there at the moment to monitor this road. Another thing that we did was to get grid references for this road and send it to our Ministry of National Defense and Border Security, where they will send it to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs will send it to the Organization of American States here in Belize, the office, and they will do a verification of the area and of the grid references to verify that it is in Belizean territory. Thereafter, after that verification is complete, we will then have options on on how we can go about destroying the road or limiting access to the road by anyone in the area.
When you say that there would be the need for verification, that is simply a process, a procedural thing, because we know it's in the Chiquibul. We know that part of it is in Belize territory.
Yes, it's within Belizean territory. However, as part of the confidence building measures signed by Belize and Guatemala, anything 1 kilometer within our territory, we have to inform the OAS and inform the OAS so they can do a verification to ensure that it is in Belizean territory, and thereafter we will take measures to destroy this road.
Now, news from the Senate sitting today. The UDP's Antonio Herrera was the only opposition senator that was present inside the chamber of the National Assembly in Belmopan. Herrera, however, spent only a short time inside before walking out in protest, but not without Senator for Government Business Eamon Courtney making a point of Herrera's departure. Here's how that went.
You should bow when you're leaving, Senator Herrera. Good. Make sure that we all see it. Good. You're leaving for the day? All right. Have a happy day.
Leader.
Madam President, it is... Madam President, with your leave, I will record historically that it is a disgrace and a stain on the democracy of Belize that on the debate for the General Revenue Appropriation Bill for the next fiscal year, the United Democratic Party is not present in this chamber. I say it is a stain and it is a disgrace, like it was in the House last debate.
The opposition has come out swinging at the Cabinet Secretary Stuart Leslie in his capacity as acting Governor General over his decision to not sign the instruments of appointment for the United Democratic Party. Leslie's decision not to sign the document effectively invalidated the participation of the two substitute UDP senators who were appointed by the opposition last Friday. At a press briefing today, opposition leader Moses Shine Barrow explained what happened.
As we all know, there are different circumstances that arise, and so you have to make temporary appointments. On Friday, temporary appointments were made. The letters of appointment were sent to the Governor General's office. The Governor General office responded, good receipt, acknowledged. There was no problem, there was no objection, oh, we don't have enough time. I called the Governor General's office on Monday at midday, and Ms. Casey confirmed that the instruments were prepared and ready to be signed, and there was no problem. Then I get an email a few hours later saying that due to circumstances beyond their control, the instruments would not be sent to the National Assembly. So I called Stuart Leslie, and he says, oh, well, he needs legal advice because of this and because of that. And I tried to clarify the matter for him, and he said, okay, he'll try to get it done in the morning. And I reached out to the President of the Senate, who said she would follow up to see whether or not the instruments came in. And my temporary senators went to the Senate and were refused to be seated, saying that the acting GG refuses to sign the instruments.
Barrow criticized the PUP for what he thinks is making a mockery of the process and to push their political agenda using the Governor General's office in the person of the acting Governor General.
His concern was that there were 3 instruments to be signed, and one instrument was to come after. The temporary senator instruments were the instruments that were priority because the permanent senator, due to the vacation of one of the senatorships, that comes after. We already have in train. There's a budget debate. This is not, no Senate meeting is regular, but this is an extraordinary Senate meeting to debate the budget, to debate how the people's monies will be spent. And so that takes time for preparation. I got last minute notices that my senators wouldn't be available, the permanent ones. And so we made the letter of appointment available to the GG's office immediately on Friday. And again, if the GG had said, her office had said at the time, it's Friday, it's too late, we can't do it, we need 48 hours, because that's another thing they're coming up with, this 48-hour rule. Does not exist on the books. Does not exist. This is a protocol, a new policy that they have ad hoc implemented. right? But what I'm saying is the purpose of the office of the GG is to facilitate these urgent requests. The PUP on one end tries to make a mockery of democracy when they do things like this. They always try to point out to who comes to House meeting and how many members of the opposition are there. When we have opposition members eager and anxious to go to the Senate and having followed the procedures, everything should be done to facilitate our constitutional right. There are no favors being done here. There is no discretion in the office of the GG. And if you look at this year's budget, the Governor General's budget has increased. So they're not short of staff. You know, it is appalling the levels of which the People's United Party would reduce themselves to in trying to undermine the opposition as well as democracy. And we condemn it vehemently, and we will take legal action to prevent these types of abuse.
Barrow said that when he called the Governor General's office on Friday evening to follow up on his communication over the substitution of Senators Michael Parafit and Beverly Williams, the employee at the office acknowledged receipt of his notification, but did not indicate at that point that there was an issue. The Governor General for Allah Salam is not in office, and Stuart Leslie is acting in that position. Barrow said Leslie's decision forced his only other senator to walk out of the proceedings.
My senators walked out, but Antonio Herrera, who was going to act as lead senator today in place of Michael Parafit, walked out in protest. I spoke to the president of the Senate, who was gracious to call me very, very early this morning, but obviously all she could do is follow up with the GG to see if there are any instruments. She cannot dictate to the GG how to proceed. Those are some of the things that we do need to establish, and she did say she would like to sit with myself, the leader of government business and the leader of opposition business and other stakeholders, so that we could come up with procedures. If there was a problem at 3 and there were clarifications that needed to be made, you just don't say, oh, I'm not doing this. You call the GG, you call me. If I need to send different instruments, there have been times where I may have quoted, they had an issue with the part of the Constitution I quoted. The GG's office has been gracious enough to say, please correct the section that you've quoted so that we can proceed. So I'm not laying this at the foot of the actual GG. I'm talking about the cab sec, the political hack Stuart Leslie. What I'm saying is at 3 o'clock, he should have contacted the AG. How do we proceed? We need to get this done.
After the break, TAA says Gustavo Requena is against Maya land rights. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Indulge in the ultimate getaway with San Pedro Belize Express Water Taxi. From March 29th to March 31st, embark on a journey to Belize's most spectacular destinations, San Pedro and Key Cocker. Relax and unwind as our experienced captains navigate you through scenic routes. Whether you seek thrilling adventures or simply wish to bask in the sun, our Easter ferry service is tailored to your desires. Our catamaran vessels will be the highlight of your trip, offering an unparalleled experience with comfortable seating and breathtaking views. Secure your tickets now and embark on an unforgettable expedition to discover Belize's natural splendor and create lasting memories with San Pedro Belize Express Water Taxi. Seize the moment with your loved ones and let the magic of adventure unfold. San Pedro Belize Express Water Taxi, your gateway to a thrilling adventure on the islands.
Buenos días. 2 boletos para Quicacas, por favor. ¿Ida y vuelta? 54. Este dinero es falso. ¿Falso?
Sí, este billete es falso.
¿Y por qué es falso?
Porque un verdadero billete de $50 tiene una marca de agua en la forma de un jaguar con la marca de agua y electrotipia de denominación y un hilo de seguridad.
Conozca su dinero. Reconozca el billete falso al verlo. No se confíe en solo una de las características de seguridad. Busque la claridad y calidad de la impresión. Las líneas y el color impresos deben ser nítidas y claras. Sienta la calidad del papel y de la impresión levantada. Ponga el billete a la luz y observe. El hilo de seguridad avantanillada debe formar una línea completa cuando se pone a la luz. La marca de agua y la electrotipia de denominación, el Jaguar, es la marca de agua en los billetes de $100 y $50. El gigante dormido es la marca de agua en los billetes de $20, $10, $5 y $2. El registro perfecto. Las partes del diseño impreso en la parte posterior deben caber exactamente dentro de las áreas sin imprimir en el frente del billete para formar el diseño completo. Revise los billetes de $100 para saber si está el holograma del tucán con la impresión sobrepuesta de la flor de vinca per vinca. Inclínelo para ver las imágenes pequeñas del tucán y el numeral 100. Revise los billetes de $50 para saber si está la imagen del pez ángel en color verde plateado. Mira más cerca. Utilice luz ultravioleta para ver los elementos fluorescentes. Utilice una lupa para ver las letras más pequeñas que leen Central Bank of Belize y el valor del billete. Detenga la circulación de los billetes beliceños falsos. Pasa todas las falsificaciones a la policía inmediatamente. Es una ofensa criminal guardar o utilizar falsificaciones. Esté a salvo, esté seguro, conozca su dinero.
1 week after their ecstatic municipal election celebration, the PUPs are in trouble with the people. Stevedores are on strike, the PUP having deceived them and their union into believing government's acquisition of the Port of Belize would bring fair compensation and better working conditions.
It came from the government of Belize to say they will override whatever exists in our CBA. I have never seen overriding a document that offended me so much.
While the stevedores are on strike, millions are being lost as ships are leaving our shores, unable to unload costly cargo. This government's acquisition of the port had nothing to do with what's good for the stevedores or the nation. It was all about saving themselves in the local elections and about further setting up their friends and cronies in business. The elections are now over, but the blue and white train has left the track, and apparently for the stevedores, that ship has sailed.
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered-up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning-fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced full high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart bringing people together.
I know I can't let this blind. I can't let this blind.
4 days ago, the Ministry of Human Development announced that Gustavo Requena had been appointed as the director of the Office of Indigenous Peoples Affairs. The ministry said that Requena was born and raised in a Maya community and brings first-hand experience and understanding of the challenges and opportunities faced by Indigenous populations. But the Toledo Alcaldes Association says otherwise. The association fired off a press release saying the government failed to consult them on Requena's appointment. Spokesperson Christina Koch told News 5 that Requena has made public statements against Maya land rights.
We were not informed, first of all, that that this appointment was already decided. In fact, we learned of this through a press release, a government press release. So we were never formally informed of this decision. And I think that this would have been a critical decision to have informed the Toledo Alcaldes Association in particular, given that we are appellants to the Maya land rights case. And it is a case that this office seeks to further advance and implement. Now, the Toledo Alcaldes Association has taken the position to denounce the appointment of Mr. Requena, primarily on the basis that he has made public statements against the Maya land rights. And we have heard him on numerous occasions making these public declarations against customary land rights, against the claims of the Toledo Alcaldes Association. And so then we ask the question, how can he be fit to implement in an objective way this very important case? So that's our main and primary concern.
Aside from the lack of consultation, Koch says that the association is also concerned about the familial relations that Gustavo and Minister Oscar Requena share. They are brothers. Spokesperson Christina Koch says that this might lead to a conflict of interest.
Secondary concern is that, in the spirit of good governance principles and in the spirit of good faith consultations with Indigenous peoples, we remind the government that it would be their duty and obligation to really consult in good faith when decisions like these are made. And then third, not to diminish this concern at all, but it's certainly a secondary concern, is that he is known as the younger brother of the area representative, Mr. Oscar Requena. And of course, Mr. Requena is the one of the appointed committee members. We have reached out to the minister. We have asked him if he has anything to say about this appointment. In fact, he has told us blatantly that he doesn't know about it, that all he knows is that his brother applied for the position.
Do you know whether or not that position was advertised?
I don't know what the process was, Hipólito. Like I said, the appellants were never informed. In fact, we learned of this appointment through a government press release. That does not bode well for building trust and good faith relations with the Indigenous peoples of Toledo.
Senator for Government Business Eamon Courtney opened today's budget debate inside the National Assembly building in Belmopan. Senator Courtney expounded on a point made by Prime Minister John Briceño last week. The government is spending approximately 73 cents of every dollar to keep its operations running, including the payment of salary and pensions of public officers. With 27 cents remaining for capital investments, Senator Courtney noted the importance of access to concessionary financing.
As the Prime Minister explained, and this is important, Madam President, 30 cents of every dollar will go to wages for public officers, 7 cents of every dollar for public officers' pensions, 18 cents of every dollar for operational costs of the government, such as utilities and transportation, and 7 cents for interest on loans. That leaves 27 cents, Madam President, for capital expenditure and investment to build a better Belize. Therefore, 73 cents of every dollar simply keeps the machinery of government running, and it is only 27 cents that is available for building Belize. Madam President, it is in that context that we have to make efforts, as was made by Senator Curry, in accessing concessional financing in order to make the ambitious plans of Plan Belize possible.
Business Senator Kevin Herrera says that the government's projected expenditure of $1.6 billion for 2024 is manageable, with revenues projected at $1.4 billion. He argued, however, that the government is foregoing too much money in land taxes and on an annual basis. Senator Herrera says that up to $100 million in land taxes can be collected annually, as opposed to the projected $7 million.
And these are all very manageable, Madam President. These are not bad numbers at all, because they're really within the range that are manageable. And so we came pretty close to where expenses almost equaled revenues. And I think that if we continue to work on the revenue side of the budget, if we continue to try to contain expenses as much as possible, I think that we can look at an overall surplus at some point. On the revenue side, Madam President, I am of the view that the government forgoes millions of dollars in uncollected taxes each year. This is very, excuse me. This is very important to bring fairness into the system. For those who play by the rules, and I'm talking about the private sector, Madam President, they're disadvantaged in a competitive environment when they have to compete with those who unfairly don't pay their fair share. And as a result, is either able to sell at a lower price or have a bigger margin, or in some cases both. I will give you one example, Madam President, and this is an area I think I've raised on a couple of occasions. And this is an area that we're woefully underperforming. Land tax. We have budgeted $7.152 million in this coming fiscal year. This is generally the amount we budget to collect every year, $6 million, $7 million. And you'd look at it, Madam President, and say, well, this is consistent, so seems reasonable. But the fact is, Madam President, is that we could collect a lot more in this area. In fact, my understanding from talking from those who work in the system and work with the system is the amount we can collect for land taxes could be well over $100 million per year.
Church Senator Bishop Alvin Bengushe focused his contributions on poverty alleviation. Senator Bengushe contended that poverty breeds crime, and as such, the government must place emphasis on providing more opportunities for the marginalized. He noted that improving the living conditions of the most vulnerable is a priority.
For poverty alleviation, if we share and if we deal with these focus areas, it will help to build children, educate children. It will help to focus on women who must be employed and must be given employment opportunities, as I said, especially in the rural areas. Mr. President, poverty breeds crime, such as we are seeing, perhaps not so much so in Belize, but one of our neighboring CARICOM countries. And we have to take note of that we must never as a country reach that proportion of crime. And so we must seek to build on our people and to move them out of poverty. I look at the Ministry of Infrastructure, Development and Housing. And continuing, Mr. President, on the subject of alleviating poverty. This is a vital area that the church is concerned about, the living standard of people.
Today was the last time we'll hear from Elena Smith as Senator for the Unions. As we have reported, Smith is vacating the seat. Glenfield Dennison of the PSU was elected to replace Smith. During her budget presentation today, Smith noted that if the Bressenu administration seeks to remain on track, it must ensure that its financial policies are benefiting most Belizeans.
As we go through and we look at the budget speech is titled Staying on Track. And so, while it is that the government wishes to stay on its track, we only hope that the track that we are going to be staying on, that we are referring to, is a track where we will see the majority of our people benefiting, and we will see that the lives of the Belizean people will be better based on this track that the government wants to remain on. I think we must also look at accounting, Madam President, of our finances. Because coming here and going through the budget is one thing, but we have to have proper accounting of how we spend the people's money. And reconciliation and audits will help us in terms of getting proper or good accounting for the monies that we spend. And if it is that we continue on the track where we are getting an audit report every 10 years, every 12 years, or we are 6 or 8 years behind, then that is not giving us a true picture of where we are and how well we are spending our funds and how well we are accounting for those funds. And so those are the kinds of things that we have to ensure that those kinds of things are on track so that we can then, as a people, as a country, as a government, that we can say year after year that we budgeted this amount, this was spent this way, we have this remaining, and we can now put this towards something else, and next year we can do better.
When we return, popular musician Kenny G still singing those good old hits.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
I'm David Humes, this is Vanessa Humes. We own Ladyville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
At RF&G Insurance, we're committed to safeguarding what matters most to you, offering coverage mile after mile. Our offices and agents located across Belize ensure that you are protected. Secure your property with RF&G Householders Comprehensive Policy. From your home to your belongings, we offer protection so you can enjoy life to the fullest. For more information on your coverage options, contact our team of experts today or visit your local agents. We'll be ready to assist. Don't forget, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Rowe Group company.
The story of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise under the leadership of Honorable Jose Abelardo May is one of service to our farmers and to all productive sectors in the industry. That was not the case under the previous administration, when the rice mill in Big Falls closed production in 2015, resulting in a loss of employment for farmers and opportunities for economic growth in that district. All that changed in 2022, when the Big Falls rice mill was reopened by this administration. Thanks to the work of the ministry, through the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, the mill is thriving, and in 2023 purchased 1.8 million pounds of paddy from 200 farmers in the Toledo district. That is real vision and real work. But even more than that, it is about looking out for our people. The Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, moving forward with leadership that works for our farmers, for the industry, and for the nation.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, pay $28.13 more and get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
On Monday, 31-year-old Monique Escalante, a junior immigration officer, was arraigned on a charge of extortion. She is accused of extorting $6,000 from Jamaican national Janoy Richards. Allegations are that Escalante demanded Richards pay the sum and claimed she was entitled to do so as an immigration officer. Escalante's attorney, Audrey Matura, claims that these allegations have no truth to them and that her client is being used as a scapegoat to cover up the misdeeds of officers of higher rank. We asked Commissioner of Police Chester Williams about these claims.
I don't expect the attorney to say otherwise. That's his job or her job to make her client appear to be innocent. I'm not the arbiter of the facts. I can only present the facts as they are, and the court at the end of the day is going to determine her guilt or innocence. But I know for a fact that there is surveillance footage showing the immigration officer going to an ATM with the complainant. And the complainant sought to withdraw money from his credit card, but that did not materialize. We also have surveillance footage to show that the complainant was held at the airport for extended hours. At one point in time, the airport actually closed, and they were still there with him. And the video footage shows certain things that supports the information provided by the complainant. I'm not going to say the immigration officer is innocent or guilty. Like I said, I'm not the one who is going to decide that. But from a police standpoint, we have sufficient to have laid the charges against her.
Are you able to say whether or not the complainant had attempted to leave the country via the northern border?
As far as I'm aware, no.
A very public dispute between UDP leader Moses Shine Barrow and Brian Yellowman Audinet is intensifying. On Monday, Audinet responded to Barrow's claims that he stole a refrigerator, television, and microwave from the party's headquarters. Audinet then filed a counter-police report in which he made several allegations against Barrow. Today, the media asked Police Commissioner Chester Williams about both reports. Williams says he doesn't know of any against Audinet, but says the police are investigating the allegations made against Barrow.
CIB have that complaint. They are following it up to see if there is any credibility to the information. It's one that we cannot ignore. And so I'm going to give the investigator time to be able to do the investigation. I know that they are in the process of interviewing persons who Yellowman claim were around, or including persons who may have brought certain things, information to him. And when we are through with that, if we see a need to bring in Shine or the leader of the opposition for an interview, then we're going to do so.
Sometimes we're all too caught up in the lyrics of some popular artists or their genre of music that we don't pay enough attention to the ones that have been singing the lyrics of those same artists and many others. An artist like Kenneth Gladden, or Kenny G as he is known to his fans across Belize, has been singing since the mid-80s in Corozal. And then he became popular with the now defunct Santino's Messengers and the Lord Rayburn combo. And while he hasn't written many hit songs of his own, Kenny G has been performing his own renditions of those other local and international artists. But because music has transitioned over the years and live bands made up of several members have faced fierce competition with cheaper priced DJ entertainment, musicians like Kenny G have had to turn to other means of livelihood to make ends meet. And News 5's Marian Ali found him doing just that when she visited him at his clothing outlet on Mahogany Street today. She brings you Kenny G's journey to popularity and off the stage in this week's edition of Culture Tuesday.
If you're over 50, you know this man for his smooth vocals and his remarkable ability to interpret various musical artists' hit songs in a way that you absolutely enjoy. Kenneth Gladden, otherwise known widely as Kenny G, has been in the music industry since his early days in Corozal. His initiation into music came in the strangest of ways. He was not discovered by anyone. He told us that he decided to try his voice at home in private and liked what he heard. And that was his starting point.
When school was out, I used to go do one part-time job with that U.S. Council with a little my man, Mr. Oak. Used to go do part-time job with him. And I get to buy a lead tape recorder, right? You could record your voice. And I used to put on the music and I record, and I used to sing along with the music, right? And I record the voice, then play it back, I listen to it, how he sung, I saw if in a tune. And I said, you know something, that song good, I think I should take it up. And then when people start to hear me, other musicians start to hear me and say, why, we don't want you to come sing with the band, you know.
That was back in Corozal when Gladden's singing career started. Those early performances took him to Chatamal and surrounding areas in the mid-80s. From there, he moved to Belize City, where the Santino's Messengers Baby Band and the Lord Rayburn Combo, at another point, were familiar weekend songs with Kenny G.
That was the late 80s, because that's when we found Messengers Baby, Santino's Messengers Baby. That was in the late 80s. I would have said about 88, 89.
When you were main vocalist?
Yes, I was the main vocalist.
When you had hair?
When I had hair, black hair.
Gladden says his first inspiration was his father.
I was inspired, firstly, by my father, because my father is a great late Rudolph Gladden. They used to call him Chuck because they say he take up a Chuck Pender. I have never seen my father perform in full until the later days of his life when he came back to Belize from New York. So, but I was inspired by him because everybody tell me, boy, how great your father was, right? Why your papa? Man like Evan Exide used to say, boy, your father bad man, and Bismarck and all these guys they had known my father, but then they tell me how good he was, right?
And while you may have heard his mellow voice performing to one of your favorite artists' songs, you probably didn't know that Kenny G is the lyricist behind that popular Guana Tale.
A hungry, what you want? A hungry, what you want? The rice and beans, me no want that. The rice and beans, me no want that. The ox there, me no want that. The ox there, me no want that. The couple soup, me no want that. The couple soup, me no want that. What you want? Give me the guana tail, guana tail, guana tail, guana tail, guana tail, guana tail. Give me the guana tail.
You wrote that?
Yes. I make that song when we gonna Bermuda landing. I say this girl just like the dance front of we, right? And she just fling like she fling one tail, right? I said, this place I know the guana and the tail and I think they whop wrong. And this girl behind just go like guana tail. I say, all right, go then. Right there you start.
But live music entertainment has transitioned since the 80s. Now, live bands face challenges getting jobs because people oftentimes opt for the cheaper priced DJ entertainment. But Gladden, who has his own new creation band, now says he will keep the band going, and he is doing what he can through his own music to keep the Belizean music industry alive. And he has the support of the director of the Institute of Creative Arts, Kim Vasquez.
We really have to look at musicians like Kenny Gladden, who are musicians that back a lot of what we call the living legends or the well-known musicians. And so we tend to not remember them as often as we should. But he does, in fact, have his own band, the New Creation Band. And he does, in fact, do a really good job of promoting Belizean music, of covering the music of other musicians, and keeping Belizean culture alive in his own way.
By keeping our legends alive, it paved the way for youths, in the sense that the youth will say, okay, we never know that Ben McCoy may do that song. Then we hear it, but we don't know that Ben McCoy do that song, or we never know that Lord Rayman do that song. So by keeping these legends in the forefront, pave the way for the youths then to say, well, okay, so we could take one page out of Lord Rayman book, and we could do for we think just like Lord Rayman.
If you would like Kenny G and the New Creation Band to play at your special event, you can contact him at 625-0064. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
Up next, the Ministry of Immigration offering convenient passport services countrywide.
Real leadership is about creating opportunities for our farmers, traditional and non-traditional. And with the Honorable Jose Abelardo May at the helm, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise has made unprecedented strides. Through the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, beekeepers have been provided with information, training, and assistance to build a thriving new subsector in Belize. The BMDC also purchases and markets the honey. Currently, the BMDC is also assisting farmers from 3 districts by purchasing mango, dragon fruit, passion fruit, and soursop pulp. Belizeans can enjoy these fruits all year round, and the tourism industry has a year-round supply of delicious, wholesome Belizean fruit. This is innovation at its best. That is real vision and real work. But even more than that, it is about looking out for our people. the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, moving forward with leadership that works for our farmers, for the industry, and for the nation.
Hi, my name is Lincoln Fowers and I work at UMAL. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money and gas price because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult, in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. New healthcare provider feature coming this March. Social Security at your fingertips.
The Belize Social Investment Fund Contractors Forum concluded today in Belize City. The first day of the forum took place in Crozal Town, where contractors met. The event moved to Belize City, where small, medium, and large-scale contractors engaged in discussions surrounding the requirements and processes to bid for contracts. SIF's Finance Unit Coordinator, Nellie Trench, told us more.
The purpose of the workshop is to walk the contractors through the process in terms of when they're filling out the bidding documents. Experiences that SIF has experienced with contractors is that when they're filling out these documents, there's a lot of errors that are made, and these errors allows them to become non-responsive. And so some of the key areas, the senior procurement officer, the finance and the technical unit coordinator is walking them through are the forms and the errors that they have made. And another highlight of the workshop is to provide to them some of the projects that are in the pipeline for SIF in terms of small, medium, and large-scale projects, and then that will give them an opportunity to send in a bid for those.
For some time now, the board of directors, the managers at SIF, and the staff has seen the need to increase the pool of contractors. We have seen throughout projects at SIF that it's the same contractors bidding every time. So we want to ensure that we have a space like the one today in which we can invite contractors so that we can answer some of the questions, some of the concerns they have, so that they can start to bid for those projects at SIF. We want to assure contractors that the process is transparent. There are 3 layers of transparency at SIF. One would be our internal supervision through our engineers. We also have the supervision by the consultant, and the third, the supervision from the financial institutions such as the CDB or any other institution that is working with us.
If you need to renew your passport or apply for your first one, but can't seem to find the time because of work or the distance, you live from the nearest Immigration and Nationality Office, you can do so now. The Ministry of Immigration, through the Nationality and Passport Department, is offering convenient passport services in several areas throughout the country on the weekends. Those who successfully apply will receive their passport within 2 weeks of filing out their application forms. This week, residents of Spanish Lookout, Los Tambos, and Duck Run 1, 2, and 3 were the first to benefit from these identity hubs, which are being conducted in partnership with the International Organization for Migration, headed by Diana Locke.
We approached immigration, Ministry of Immigration, specifically the Department of Nationality and Passport. We approached Social Security, and we floated the idea of coming together and bringing the services to people in their community. They were both very excited about it. We reached out to Labor because the Labor Department is also here, and they're sharing information with persons who are looking for jobs. You could come and talk to them, and they could tell you what's available in the area that they work. And so basically what we have here today is a partnership of all of these entities. We will be having the Vital Statistics Unit with us later on because that's an identity service also. And so what we're doing is providing this service to people who normally would not be able to access this during the week for whatever reasons. They're not able to get time off. Elderly, you see a lot of elderly people here today who might have a difficulty traveling. And so we try to take the service to the community where they can do this. We're going to be having them across the country in each district. There'll be 2 in Toledo because Bella Vista is a very large area, that entire area. So we're going to do 1 in Bella Vista, 1 in Toledo, or over 2-day weekend. We're going to do San Pedro, Belize City. Every district will be covered. We'll be going there and providing this service to people who need it on the weekends.
Do note that we're only accepting these applications. No production is done on site. We come back in office and we do all the production for the documents. Actually, the service is exactly the same. The only difference is that we are going to the customers and they're not coming to us, but it's exactly the same. I have known some persons have said that they find it a little bit easier and quicker when we are out in the fields as opposed to in the office. So the pickup location varies on the districts that we're doing because do know that the service that we're providing will be provided for the entire country. So if we provided the service in Orange Walk, then they will pick up back in Orange Walk. And passports only taking 10 days. So within 10 days, those passports are delivered back to the respective stations. So we have done Orange Walk, we've done San Ignacio, Benque, we've done 1 in Barranco, and last Saturday we were in Spanish Lookout.
But if you have other immigration and nationality needs, you will also be able to access assistance through these on-site hubs. As the head of the IOM Belize, Diana Locke explains, people who are looking to renew their permanent residency cards will also be able to do so.
You can get a replacement of a permanent resident card because now they've switched to cards. So all those really old laminated cards from the 90s, we see a lot of them here today. You can get a replacement of a nationality certificate. You can make a new application for nationality by descent, nationality through marriage, nationality through registration. So basically every service that is offered by the department in Belmopan is being offered here today. We also have Social Security providing, I think they're taking pictures for new cards, they're doing appointments if you just need an appointment, but all the services that they provide to lead you to get a card is here today. As I indicated, Labor is here sharing information about what's available in terms of jobs for people who are interested. And then we also have Vital Stats that will be joining us, that will be issuing late registrations or birth registration documents, deaths, marriages, all of a lot of people have really old marriage certificates, well, not even the official certificate, but from the church. Those have to be converted. So all of those services will be available at these hubs that we're doing across the country.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.